FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. As always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in to all the GPS family from near and far. You guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. You know, the show is really... I forget about my lipstick today. What a time. Anyhow, the show is really growing in popularity. More and more people are coming to me saying, boy, I watched that show. Or they will say, reference something that was said on the show. And now I see where people are sending me clips that are going viral from the show. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So big thank you to all of you who tune in on a regular basis. And a huge thank you, of course, to our sponsors who make it all possible. I really do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank you all for the vote of confidence that you express in GPS by tuning into the show every single day of the week. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your support. So, I apologize to those of you who don't want to hear about politics. So sorry. But ain't much else we could be talking about at this kind of time. So today is another political show, and I'm calling this one, I decided to name the title of the show based on something that I heard my guest say on someone else's podcast last evening. C. Alan Johnson said, when it comes to the next sitting of Parliament, there'll be three sets of people in there: the government, the opposition, and noise. I say that sounds like a good show. The government, the opposition, and noise. Now, here's the thing, C. Allen. Morning and welcome back to GPS.
Good morning. Thank you. And thank you, Bahamas, for tuning in.
The thing is now, voters have to decide over the next couple of days who will fit where. Who is going to be government? Who is going to be the opposition? And who just could be making a bunch of noise? So, why do you call it noise, though? Why do you think, what constitutes noise as far as you're concerned in the next House of Assembly? Explain to our viewers what you meant by that.
Okay, let me go to the three of them. Essentially, government sets the tenor of policy and the direction through it's going to go through the promises made. It will seek to fulfill through its manifesto as well as the speech from the throne.
Right.
The opposition in the way our country works is the opposition rarely puts forward any forward-thinking argument. It should be alternate. In essence, for most Beamers don't even realize that the word opposition in parliamentary democracy means government in waiting, not oppose ideas or oppose things. They're supposed to support alternatives to government. And then we've had a number of independents in the House of Assembly, and there's a high possibility that there can be independence at this particular time. Right. I don't see it, but I don't rule it out.
You don't see what?
I don't see the strength of the independence based on a number of variables. Remember, now I understand what is called the popular noise in the marketplace, but I am a data person, and the data tells me it's possible but not plausible at this particular time. We are getting
what is possible but not plausible. Like say
it's possible to have some independent be elected, but the data said it's not plausible based on a number of factors such as registration, such as time of contact to allow for them to make contact with the public in spite of independents being there in the field for a number of years, at least 3 of them, Michael Pine, Hauser Moultrie, and Reese Chipman. There's others that joined lately. And I almost consider the DNA an independent party a group of independents as opposed to a party, because I don't think that they will become government. So they will be a voice or a number of voices. So 2 or more individuals, if 2 or more independents were to make it into the House of Assembly, and they were to, you don't even need 2, you just need 1 to declare themselves a party. The question is, what position would they be in bringing forth policy, agitating for change, as government in waiting? And so essentially, because of the way we have seen governance happen in the Bahamas, what we have is, generally speaking, opposition make noise. They criticize and critique what both sides are doing, but rarely do they bring forth any type of policy or major change in Parliament. So essentially, they just simply make noise. Now, I remember now I serve as chairman of a party that sat in the House of Assembly, and we made both noise and impact, because we brought forth, and we have people talking about they're the first people to bring a bill to Parliament and all these other things besides the 2 political parties. We did bring a bill for the mortgage relief into Parliament, for which both the PLP and the FNM jointly put into committee, and it never came out. That bill serving today, some of the tenets that they're trying to extract now from the previous administration and this administration from that bill would have saved probably 90% of the homes that is in crisis right now during this COVID type environment. We were able to impact the Vote No campaign for gaming, as well as the Vote No campaign for the referendum. And so, but that took strategy, bringing together communities. We had the various community organizations, we had the churches, we had all these different people that we work with to bring about these changes. But generally, you don't have the independence as such have the focus to bring about those changes that we've seen, at least in the 15 years I've been home, 17 years I have observed, and they simply just make noise. And we can look at that. For instance, you had Rollins. Rollins was one of the most effective noise makers in Parliament, but because essentially he didn't bring any policy, no major impact, but he clearly showed hypocrisy, defects, and other means of governance. And then he joined the FNM, and you saw when he went back and he began to warn us concerning Hubert Alexander Minnis. And so he went just a bar or 2 above the noise category, but generally speaking, you will have noise in Parliament. Now, let me just add 1 to that. You see where Hauser Moultrie has began to do something. I think he may, if you look at from a historical perspective, he's setting a benchmark high for both the noise and the impact category, because at least for Speaker of the House, because from his independent stand, never has it been done in the House of Assembly in our governance of standing up since our independence, has the Speaker of the House taken a position to protect the interests of the people for which the Speaker to do. A quick education for Bahamians, in case they don't know, in the parliamentary democracy, the Speaker of the House does not belong to a party. In essence, when a speaker is appointed, it's customary under this process to resign from the political party and become neutral, neither or. And this is essentially what House of Moultrie is doing right now. But this is what we've never had any speaker do absolutely from day one. So maybe the next Speaker of the House, in fact, if you were to do what is customary under the parliamentary democracy, his seat would not be challenged. The Speaker of the House becomes so neutral that neither party challenges the seat. He goes unchallenged for, I don't know whether it's 1, 2, or 3 terms that allows him to sit and be the neutral voice in the House of Assembly. We have not adopted that type of maturity. So going back to again, you would, in the next House of Assembly, since you'll most likely only have 2 political parties, the Free National Movement, the Progressive Liberal Party, one will be government, one will be opposition, and then you will have an independent or 2 who will simply make noise, even if they declare themselves to be a party, because the structure that's required to be impactful requires literally, even as an independent, a political party structure, even if you remain independent without one.
So where is data coming from? What you're talking about? Because a lot of people listening to this show right now and saying, "Boy, C. Allen, you know, I like to listen to you, but you way off at this one." Where you get this data from? Where is it coming from?
It's called social listening. What social listening does is it not only takes the social polls that have been going on. It's something called social listening, where you listen to Facebook, you listen to Instagram, you listen to Twitter, and you listen to what people say, how they say it. You listen to WhatsApp. I collect literally most people. I collect over 100 gigabytes of information from just WhatsApp alone in the Bahamas of who's sharing. You begin to look to see who is in the group, their activity in the group, their participation in the group. You look on social media, you're beginning to see trends develop as people begin to slowly move to position by virtue of what they share. You begin to look at posts by virtue. There's not just me, but companies around the world that get analytics on posts in regions, etc. And you begin to look at posts that is moving up in the ranks, posts that is shared, views that is looked. So it isn't just one particular thing. I tell people I do a data analytics as part of my living.
Okay, so we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Michelle, and good morning, C. Allen.
Good morning, sir.
I'm listening to your comments, and I'm just snickering to myself. Okay. What I've observed so far in Facebook land is pretty much the exact opposite. Most Bahamians right now, based on what I'm seeing, I could be wrong, but based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of negative PR towards both parties, actually. The following for FNM and the PLP it seems to be, for the most part, a negative one. Okay, that's what I'm getting from a number of age brackets, those born in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and even, surprisingly enough, a large portion of the folks that are born in my mom's time frame, you know, who've been there around independence before.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What is the total of your data set? 100 people, 200 people, 300 people? What is the total amount of people you're looking at?
No. I'm talking the thousands. The thing about it is, okay, watch this. I'll make it very simple. I'm not going to be long-winded about this at all. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I'm in the major groups in the country that have 23,000 or more, around that bracket of people within the groups. I'm very active in the groups. Every poll thus far in all the major groups of the country have said with an itemized list of every third party and every major party. And they've all put the Coalition of Independence way in the lead, every last poll. I say that without because I know you're going to jump on that right away, C. Allen, but let me finish, please. All right? That's not a big representation of the pulse of the people, the minds of the people, but it gives you a sort of rough idea. Now, you don't have to run the, for example, a reputable source of info when it comes down to the stats of people's mindset when it comes to this election, like Intel P. I have to call them out because they're obviously supported by the PLP. And every time they post a poll, it has a PLP in the lead or whatever the case is. They have their own interest at heart. However, based on the conversations from the biggest posts on the biggest groups in Facebook, for example, like I said, they are speaking very ill of the policies and the history of both parties, PLP and FNM, and they want real change. They're talking about Lincoln Bain and the Coalition of Independence like mad. Like mad. I'm not trying to overemphasize that. I'm not trying to sound biased.
Let me guess right? Let me engage you for 1 second, Michelle. Yes, the problem is, right? I listen very intently. One thing that I do for a living is I remove bias. Let me use an example. Anybody that knows me knows my political philosophy aligns with that of the Progressive Liberal Party. There's no doubt of that. But no FNM and no PLP reputable or a fair person would tell you that my opinion has been biased toward either of them in the last 17 years. If you want to see my record, I called a prediction last year in 2017, 34 to 35. It ended up being 35-34. Right? I brag now to tell people, well, I was wrong by one, but now with one joining, I'm correct now, except now the one is missing from the FNM. Now, I guess two. But I'm simply saying this. Because I do this for a living and people watch what I say and watch what I do, and I listen to those groups with 23,000. I listen to the 60 or 70 people in those group posting. I could also tell you in those groups with 23,000, 99% of those people, Facebook has put those alerts to sleep because of what Facebook does with the analytics. They don't even know they're still in those groups. And so what I'm saying is I don't go by numbers. I go by participation of data that is inserted into the data lake. Understand? This isn't like, oh, anecdotal and I'm observing and whatever else. I am simply saying to you is Lincoln Bain is very popular in his message, but the translation of the 194,000 voters that is on the registration roll, I could assure you that his 35 other additional candidates, most people could barely tell you their name. Okay, so the Coalition of Independence has not done an excellent job in defining the individuals as to who they are, and each of those 6,000 people in New Providence and Grand Bahama and other data set. This is not on the front of any of them. The DNA has been in this lake longer than anyone else, and they had a tremendous pull until recently, and they have dropped off almost instantly off the map. So I'm simply saying is that, this isn't where I'm guessing. I'm saying to you that I read hundreds of thousands of messages per day. Mm-hmm. And it isn't me. It's a computer that does analytics and looking for keywords, looking how it matches with other behavior and everything else. This isn't, I'm sitting in some group and I'm looking at my phone. This is a computer monitoring 24 hours a day, not where you say, well, I've been in this group and this is what I see. And this person make this poll. We're not subject ourselves to anybody poll, not even the public polls that's published.
Let me ask you both a question, though.
I was going to say, but go ahead, Michelle.
How reliable is polling when it comes to somebody? Hold on. Somebody is calling, and caller, I can't take you while I have another caller on the line. So wait until we're done with this discourse and then call back, please. Here's what I'm saying. We some of the most sophisticated polling organizations or entities are in the United States of America. And very often we hear about, the polls show that this one is leading, and the polls show that is leading, and the polls this and the polls that. And then election night come, and you trying to figure out, okay, so who them pollsters was talking to?
Right. No, correct.
The polls.
I was just going to use that, but go ahead.
So how reliable is this data that you're talking about, C. Allen?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. A poll is a snapshot in time. It is absolutely reliable for that moment. On average, a poll is only good for 56 hours based on the messaging environment we're in. And anybody who tells you they have a poll older than 3 weeks old, that opinion is obsolete.
So in other words, this can change.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
On a daily basis.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead, C. Allen, respond.
It changes on a daily basis in real time, because as more information is added or given to people, they begin to move the influence. Because social media, a big impactful point, and verbal communications. As I give information to people, they may have been with 1 foot over here, that they could now move 1 or 2 points to the right or 1 or 2 points to the left. So those information, the most accurate poll you'll ever get in the Bahamas is called the results of an election.
Election day.
Yes. Michelle, I'm agreeing with C. Allen there. You see, because it's also dependent on the amount of activity from a specific portion of those contributors to that data. You see, so I'm not on Facebook every day.
Right.
Sometimes, some portions of the week, I'm on Facebook more than others. So it's variables that contribute to a specific point in time, and what people's opinions are at that specific point in time. That's all it is. What I'm saying to C. Allen is that at different points in time in Facebook popularity and Facebook usage, people have put the Coalition of Independence overlapping the PLP and the FNM by 5, 6, and 7. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying you, sir.
Hold on,
Let him finish the point,
I listen totally what you have to say. Okay, give me the same respect. What I'm saying is that you have about 7 to 10 polls from different people on a daily basis and different aspects of the week. I'm not saying that your info is inaccurate to some degree, whatever the case is. I'm just going on my personal observations and also the combined observations of others. Okay? I'm talking to people that have no support of the Coalition of Independence, PLP or FNM. They're just trying to get a pulse of the people, what they're going to do, what they plan on doing, because our minds could change at any given moment. However, it's simply put, let me give you a case in point. I'll be very brief because I know other people are trying to call it. Brave Davis has a post on the stage that says that he's inviting Hubert Alexander Minnis to a public debate. Him and Hubert. And you should read the comments. It's just hilarious. The people burn him out left, right, center, man. About 85% of the comments right there are just calling him an embarrassment.
Wow.
Because of all the public debates that he was invited to and never showed up. All of a sudden, crunch time, couple seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter, in a desperate move, he wants to have a public debate from our Prime Minister. Okay? You should read the comments of people of all different types of mindsets. It is ridiculous. They are tag teaming Brave Davis right now as we speak. Please go on the stage and check it out. The common mentality I'm getting from the people is we are sick and tired of both parties. They have a horrible track record. We want real change. We want something new.
Okay.
It's going to require us.
Let's let C. Allen respond now. Go ahead, C. Allen.
We can end this conversation. I listened to the conversation from the beginning to end, and he keeps saying we, this, and that. See, again, he's telling me from his 5,000 friends, which is not his friends, because if he understands the matrix of how Facebook works, they're not his friends. And the person creating the poll, right, is only limited by the persons within his circle of few, and then some spreading out. Because Facebook don't allow you to utilize their platform like they used to do for free. So I'm simply saying is that do not get impressed by 100 people, 200 people that takes these my opinion poll. Those polls are almost comical, especially when leaders and other people in the group tells their friends, go vote on this, so we could get ahead. We could get ahead. I see it with the DNA. I see it with Coalition of Independence. I see it with others. So those little things, those little jokes we do, those are garbage. But you can't tell me where I pay for matrix from companies and from Facebook and other places to understand the whole 300,000 individuals that IP address comes from the Bahamas, that your group of 5,200 friends is far superior than Facebook $1 trillion analytics platform. So please please. That's
I was talking about my 5,000 friends. The people I'm talking about, Siam, are not even on my friend list.
Okay.
But you and I are having two different conversations. If I want to talk about myself, I'm saying I don't want to go any further. I'm saying you're talking about just. I'm not even talking about my 17,000. I'm not talking about my 17,000.
Mine already made up anyway, so I'm gone. I'll listen.
No, I'm saying to you, I'm talking about Facebook, man. This ain't my opinion. This is the data. See, I have an opinion. Michelle has an opinion. You have an opinion. The computer don't like none of us. It tells the truth.
All right. Good point to take a break on. Good Lord. And we had a couple of people trying to call through and couldn't get through.
Let me invite that caller to clip this part of the thing. And the day after, I want you to come back.
All right, wait, caller. I just picked up a line, but caller, please call back after the break or hold on until we get through the break, all right? Because we have to take a break. So let's take this break, and then hopefully if the caller is still on the line or calls right back, we'll go to them right after on the other side. Stay with us. This is GPS on Glory 93.9 FM.
Located on Carmichael Road, Divine Designs Hair Boutique is a haven for women and men looking for professional beauty services. Our state-of-the-art and contemporary equipment creates a relaxing ambiance for you to enjoy while we cater to you. Need a hairstylist? We cater to all types and textures of hair for care and styling. We even have a barber on duty. Need a nail tech? Our technicians provide a range of nail services, including the latest trends. Unwind in one of our massage chairs while you get your pedicure. With our reasonable rates, friendly staff, and over 20 years of experience, you will be in great hands. Call us at 823-1669 or 698-1025 to schedule your appointment. Wanna be pampered? Wanna be slayed? Let Divine Designs make your day.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Alive. Alive. Believe in best. And by Tropical Gyros. Not just good food, it's an experience. And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. Today's show is being called Government, Opposition, or Noise. And my guest, once again, is C. Alan Johnson. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good morning, Lady Malcolm. How are you doing today?
Great. How you doing?
Good morning.
The Honorable Mr. C. Allen. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Hanging in there.
That's good. That's good. I want to say one or two things about your guest, Mr. C. Allen. You know, I've been watching him, I would want to say probably for the past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I can say about that gentleman is he is among the most brilliant minds here in the Bahamas. You know, he's one of those guys, if he were to go in an international debate, you would be proud to know that, you know, he's a Bahamian and he's representing you. Very, very articulate, very, very wise man, you know, beyond his years. So I just had to say that about him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's absolutely correct in his stance. You know, what people have to realize is that the election is not going to take place on social media. Social media can be very, very deceiving.
Mm.
Social media is a world within itself. Okay, you're going to have over 100,000 persons are projected to be participating in this upcoming election, whereas you have the same 100, 200 persons commenting on every post. Not because you have, now let me say this now. I must commend Lincoln Bean. I'm not a fan of his. No, I'm not. But nonetheless, that doesn't negate the fact that he was able to garner a buzz. He was able to garner a buzz. Right now, we have more momentum than the DNA. Whether you want to admit it or not, he has more momentum. Him himself, I'm not talking about the candidates or anything like that. He himself has garnered more attention, more momentum than the DNA, okay? So I applaud him for that. But at the end of the day, when you look at these persons who are from post to post, who here, who there, they are the same people circulating in the same pool, So whereas you have an election coming with over 100,000 persons, that's not the same people who are going to be on Facebook. A lot of persons who heavy into politics, they wouldn't be caught dead commenting on the post pertaining to politics. So you cannot be deceived by the same 100, 300 people who comment on each post, who doing every opinion poll and all of this and all of that. That's not where the election is going to take place. Do not be deceived by social media. Social media, I'm going to leave you with this, not to get too personal. I remember some years ago, I had a business, and I put the business out there on social media. I told people this business was coming. Listen to me, man. The business went viral. People, everyone tagging their friend. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Man, we got to check this out. Wait. They tag 1 million people. Everything I put, if I put a picture of a banana, if I put a picture of a banana coming from that business, that picture would have 300, 400 likes in the space of 24 hours. People they just was in love with the concept. They loved the concept of the business. But at the end of the day, they didn't show up. So that same energy that was on social media, it didn't translate into sales. When people was actually coming to the business, they say, it's the same business, but I don't know. This can't be the same business, but popping on social media, 500 likes, 800,000, all kind of different people come. I said, man, no, man. But that showed me, it woke me up to let me know. Facebook, social media is a world in itself. Fast forward, I have another business now. That business, it does moderate numbers. Nothing like how that one was doing. But now this business is prosperous. It's making money. What does that show you? It shows you that you cannot mind the likes. That's what social media is all about. It's all about the likes and the shares. That's what they do. People sitting at their computer. People sitting with their phone in their hand. That's all it's all about, a show. The election will take place in the booth. That's where it's going to take place. Not on social media.
That's the ultimate polling. Thank you, caller. But listen, caller, I could relate to what you're saying, because I remember back a couple years back when the Miss Bahamas organization first decided to embrace social media for the same reason. And we put out events coming up, and man, all kind of people say they come in and, oh boy, we have full house. doggone it, when the event comes, all these people who say it's coming. So, I hear what you're saying, caller.
It's a world within itself, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the talk. It's all about the gab. It's all about the, that's what it's all about. But the real McCoy, it happens in real life. You understand? So that is where the election is going to happen. It's going to happen in the booth. That's where it's going to happen.
Thank you so much, caller.
Continue to have a good day, Lady Malcolm.
Thank you for calling. So, see, Alan, how do you respond to that?
No, she's correct. Let me explain to the parents. Garbage in, garbage out. The question is, what garbage you're feeding in? If you don't believe that Facebook, Google, Amazon, and all these other people have built not billion-dollar business, not billion-dollar business, trillion-dollar business, strictly on data. 90% successful businesses in the world are all data companies. So you can say whatever you want. It is. These are not subject to the people's opinion. They are known for their accuracy in real-time analytics. Your previous call is absolutely correct concerning the small. We call them teacups, because a data lake has unlimited depth and unlimited width, and so it's like looking at the universe. And now you look at the universe, and this is what I do.
We have a call on the line, and another call is trying to get through while that call on the line. So let's go to the call on the line. Somebody's calling the text line, guys. That's not the right number. The right number to call is 828-3543, but we have a call on the line now. So let's get through this call first and then try it to call in again. Welcome to the show, caller.
How you doing, Michelle?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, ma'am. And good day to your faithful listeners. The facts is the facts. I'm good, big brother. I want to agree with that lady also. Of course, you know that. See, Alan know personally how I feel about his sovereignty, his mindset as relates to him being a sovereign. And every Bahamian, in my humble opinion, who in the last 48 years, both leading governing parties have taken advantage of my grandfather generation, my mother generation, I'm 51, my generation, and if we do not stand up this time around against the government we're there now and the one we voted out, what part of that are y'all forgetting? Stop playing with your lives, because I need y'all to tell me how much y'all have. There's a story in the Bible, Michelle, not about King Solomon, where two ladies made an agreement to eat one another's children. They ate one of the children, and the next day, when it was time for them to eat the second child, one of the ladies hid her child. Solomon, read the Bible and you're going to understand what he did. What am I saying? Both PLP have made a pact to eat our children to cover up the darkness they have perpetrated on my grandparents' generation, on my parents' generation. I'm 51. On my generation, and so far, they intend to perpetrate a fraud of darkness. I need the United Nations Security Council to hear this.
Okay.
I, Amos Miller, do not support the government that is there now and the Progressive Liberal Party. In my personal spiritual opinion, they are using and have used the money they have deprived the Bahamian people of that should have come to us.
Amos. We have other callers trying to get, and I ain't got you run on for 20 minutes today. All right?
I ain't gonna run on your show. I'm not trying to run on your show. I don't call to run on. I call to speak. Now, if I'm talking too long, you said, okay, that's it.
Okay,
now,
that's it.
I'm not furthermore be calling my shows no more. Period.
Okay, we got the point that you're trying to make, all right?
That's what I did with.
Okay, thanks.
Straight up.
Okay, we have another call on the line.
That's me, man. Let's go. Hang up the phone.
All right, call back, please, because I thought that was the other call I was trying to pick up. A number to call, 828-3543, 828-3543. We do have another caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle, her name was on today, man.
Wait, listen, and the line is blowing up. I got people still trying to call in now, so let's just get to the point and keep moving.
Yeah, I have to agree a lot of what the ladies called in a few minutes ago and mentioned about Facebook and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, I mentioned a few days ago that based on the business I'm in, I drive all over town, east, west, north, and south, without being biased, just being a conversationalist and trying to get an idea of how people are going to vote. Warm to the people and try to get that bit of info. Most of the folks I've come into contact in Nassau with have said that they're supporting the coalition. They want something different. They want something new. C. Allen, you mentioned that a lot of people don't know about the representatives for the different constituencies of the coalition of independents. That has changed a great deal. We check the introduction of the official introduction of the representatives for the coalition, which was done a couple of days ago. It was very moving. It had a lot of views. Okay, and because we cannot have rallies and whatnot, we're restricted to everything being done on the internet. Okay, we got to understand something, that even though the name was run out and whatnot, there's a lot of truth to what he said. And this is a given, that a lot of Bahamians, and let's say most, but a large portion of Bahamians are sick and tired. This has been a year of exposure. A lot of information has been revealed. There's a lot of information. We were in the dark for a long time when it came around to important matters of our governance. And a lot of information is revealed about both parties that we've trusted with our country for a long time. And because the dirt has come out and all the closets open and the skeletons all over the place, people are understanding their reality even more. Therefore, they're looking for something totally different. So everything against the norm, because it hasn't been working as a broken system, and it has to change.
Okay,
and
well,
this is, and then again, I'm not going to go any further than that. But all I'm saying to C. Allen, this is really directed to C. Allen, because he's trying to get some information and telling me that he has more accurate information that I may be receiving. It's not even about that.
Right.
It's about our reality and what the Bahamians are going to do based on what lady said in the polling, the voting booth. That's it.
Okay. Thanks for calling, because we got a lot of people trying to get through. So I want to respond real quick before the next call.
I'm saying this. Let me tell you how data works for me. You look up at the sky and you see the number of stars you have. What I do is I dim the light. And as I dim the light, I see billions and billions of stars that the normal eyes don't see. That's what I make my determination on, not anecdotal or anything else. I have my anecdotal opinion, and I have it. But when I'm giving a professional piece, I'm simply telling you what the data says. And let me say something. I could go right now and set my computer to the same video and we finish, and I can hit 100,000 likes in less than 15 minutes. Does that mean 100,000 people would have looked at this? No, it would mean that I would flip this through a 3-second loop where I leave loop, and it'll view. That's not somebody sitting and watching for the whole 2 hours.
Okay.
So I know the data. I'm not talking my opinion.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, Graham.
You can also buy likes too and views. But anyway, that's another story. And C. Allen's correct in everything he has ever said. And I want to be the first to say that. And both of our messages have always been consistent and never changed. I'd like to ask C. Allen, because he scours the web and has more time than most of us. Michelle and C. Allen, have you seen the Book of Lies? We call it a manifesto from any party, because we're getting ready to vote. And if I have not read your book, your manifesto, and of course you can't print it at the snap date. So can we put it online? Your vision for immigration, healthcare, the usuals, right? The economy. How can I vote C. Allen or Michelle if I've not seen your manifesto on what you propose to do once I give you this job? Will I just be putting on a blindfold and putting an X stupidly and blindly? Because I asked many MPs already, and I know C. Allen has. So, C. Allen, your thoughts. I'm going to hang up and listen. How can we vote without seeing a manifesto from any of the parties, sir? Y'all have a good day.
I'll say to you that 75% or more of the people don't read a manifesto, and those who read it don't comprehend it. Because again, it's a book of ideas. The problem is that you have to understand Bahamian vernacular behavior, type of behavior. I've learned in the 17 years of being home, we are unique creatures. And I use an example from a political standpoint. I say all the time, if Bahamians like you, they lie for you. If Bahamians don't like you, they lie on you. When questioned, like in a poll, they lie to you. So you can take that for whatever you want. And so you could, and we have seen the results tells it. But if you notice that the data for the last 12 from 2004, when social media came into play, and other polling has always been within error of 2 or 3%. And so you can't, the other guests around the place, they're off by 50%, whatever, this and that. Some of them may get lucky. Let me just use an example, and people talk about this change they want in the Bahamas. Okay, if you anybody who say they don't want change, just stand still. All of the logos I've heard before, I've seen all these soldier crabs before. Many of the people are soldier crabs. And so the change we want comes with it from each of us. And what I mean by soldier crab, every election period, every major event comes up, some activist or something come up, what you have is individuals that shows up and insert themselves, supposed to be the change makers or whatever. Soldier crabs are these little creatures that are born without shell, and they look for empty places empty shells to put on soda cap bottles, another person, organization, whatever it is. They keep inserting themselves. So if you begin to look at the political names of these alternative parties and other things, this is like the minor leagues. You know, like most people who watch Major League Baseball can't tell you the name of the minor leagues, you know. So these people who wants to get into the major league knows the minor leagues, and they know that the major league is looking for them to be auditioning. So I don't necessarily take them seriously. I listen to the message, not the noise. And a lot of people make a lot of noise, and this is why those individuals just simply been making noise for 5, 10, 15 years. And I understand what the coalition is. The coalition of Lincoln Bean is, if nothing else, when he's finished, he should go back into a job of marketing, except that you just have to add a substance of being exacting his information. Because the Coalition of Independence have done an excellent job. Not the Coalition of Independence, actually Lincoln Bean, Kiara Ellis, and Ms. Green. But the rest of those, those are hanger-ons. And substantively being able to go into the community and convince individuals. If you believe that the 194,000 people are all sitting on social media looking and listening to Lincoln Bean, or listening to Ms. Kamalafi, or listening to Brave, or listening to Hubert Minutes, then you're delusional. What it is, it's called social networking. This is not social media. This is social networking, where one individual influence 5, who influence 5, who influence 5, who influence 5. When you get 5 deep, that first 5 people have now technically influenced 16,225 people or thereabout. So essentially, Bahamians are an oral society, and it's still part of our culture. In spite of what people think for social media, the delusion of social media is exactly what it is. It's a delusion. It's not a real place people wake up. And so the fact is that the personal contact aspect of it, this is why we still have the door-to-door, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm simply saying is that I am watching the noise in the marketplace, but I'm listening to the noise in the marketplace, but I'm also watching the price of the fish. And so far, you know, I've noticed that these 2 major giants have been, you know, edging their pricing. And the other people are in the back screaming, the fish over here is cheaper, the price over here is cheaper. But the problem is the word cheaper means quality as opposed to less expensive. And so what happens then is that, you know, they've come up and they believe that they have almost penetrated the entire psyche of the entire Bahamian populace. It hasn't happened. They haven't talked to the people. And so, yes, you will get your votes. Most of them will not even see their deposit back. They should have actually, most of them will wish they'd take the $400 and had a real party at their house. But you know, and so what it is simply saying is that we have to be realistic in our expectation. This is what Bahamians do. I know the noisemakers. This is what you're doing. You go to a slot machine, you put your coin in the slot machine, and you stare at it. Do you know what has to happen? You have to pull the handle. You're not going to win unless you pull the handle. And I'm simply saying is that the problem is that this is what we do every election day. We go and we put our vote in the booth, but we never pull the handle. The handle is your activism and actually your involvement in agitating for the change that is necessary the day after election. And so you could sit and wish all you want. Wishing is no different than buying. Is saying that, you know, I'm going to hit the boy. One day I'm going to, just stop for a minute. I want people to imagine so many people who sit around talking about what they'll do when they hit, if they was to hit the lottery, and not a single one of them ever bought a ticket if they hit the lottery. And this is the delusional nature of most of these so-called people and these activists. They talk a lot. This is the noise. And so this is why I'm saying, notice this, Michelle. I said to you, there will be government, opposition, and noise. So if any of these individuals by accident makes it in the House of Assembly, that's all they will continue to do is make noise. And that's my point. They will be making noise because there's no substance to what it is. And anybody can have an idea. You know, I have an idea of living on Mars, but what are the steps that is necessary to get me there and from beginning to end? And so the fact that we have dumbed down our electorate into having intellectual thought, in critical thinking skills, we actually go for feel-good utterances. And this is what we've been getting. We've been electing parties rather than people, and then you want it done. You know, I tell people all the time, don't get upset if you send clowns to Parliament and then ask why they're acting like a circus. It is what it is.
Oh boy. Okay, audience, Facebook audience, y'all need to chill, okay? Y'all got this little war words going on between each other. That's not helpful at all to you or the show. So let's just seize up on that, all right? Let's learn to agree to disagree. Not necessary for us to start attacking each other personally. All right, we got to take a break. Boy, let's take this break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to continue to talk about government, opposition, and noise. Who will be where, in which role after September 17th? That's on the other side of the break. This is GPS on Glory 93.9 FM. Stay with us.
Best dress, hats off, looking like I walked out of catalog. Everybody wanna know where I got it from. Catwalk, 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 boutique, where we make fashion statements. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements.
For the latest styles in women's clothing and accessories, visit Catwalk Boutique on Robertson Road East at the Helron Plaza. At Catwalk Boutique, we make fashion statements.
Looking for extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Piratesville, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182. This portion of GPS is brought to you by Easy Car Sales, home of the electric vehicle. Visit easy242.com and free yourself from gas. And by Crystal Clear H2O Alkaline Water. Come visit us in our new location in the Jams Plaza on East Street South.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. Before we bring Cialan back into the discussion, I want to remind you that if you book a free test drive on easy242.com, you can win yourself a Galaxy tablet. They're giving one weekly all during the month of August, and all you have to do to be eligible to win is to book a free test drive of one of their fabulous electric vehicles on easy242.com. Go do the test drive, see how smooth you can be rolling without having to worry about paying for gas by purchasing one of their fantastic electric vehicles. But all you have to do to be eligible to win is to book a free test drive online at easy242.com, and you could be the lucky winner of a Galaxy tablet. So remember, that's only happening for the month of August, so go get it done. All right, so let's bring Cialan back into the fray. We're talking today about government opposition and noise. And boy, this has hit a lot of nerves. A lot of people are getting a little excited over this topic. Cialan is opining that we may not think it's going to go the way we think it's going to go. He said we still going to be with these two political parties that have been, doing the pendulum thing back and forth. But he is basing this on analytics data that he has studied on social media. Now, the thing that he did say is that this data is only good for 56 hours. So clearly, things can change. Now, we have the Coalition of Independents. We have the DNA. Now we have the, what is the new group calling themselves now? It's another coalition. Yeah, with Cassius now. Matter of fact, they held a press conference at 11 o'clock this morning. I forget what they're calling themselves now. Something Coalition Movement. United Coalition Movement, I think.
Yes, that's it.
United Coalition Movement. You have them, and then you have independents. I don't know who joined the United Coalition Movement, but before that came along, you had the PNP, the PNC, the RGM, the KGM, the DNA, the BDM, the FNM, the PLP, the Coalition of Independents. You have a number of and a number of other independents. The independence that matters in this election is technically 3 or 4 of them. 3 of them that I know of, and those are the ones that actually sit in the House of Assembly, because they have the ability to have a higher acceleration into the news feed, and that is Reese Chipman, Houghton Moultrie, and Frederick Markle-Pine. And Reese Chipman and Frederick Markle-Pine is up there high in the matrix of conversation in their respective constituencies, not across the Bahamas. Okay. And so when you could geofence some particular areas and see what the conversations are concerning those individuals. But just because the conversation is coming not from the 6,000 voters, because that takes a whole nother dynamics of understanding where they are, but people within that particular geo area which overlap even into other constituencies. And the problem with that is that individuals is in some of those geo areas basically because due to work and other things, and they move out and they're not necessarily the same people as having the same conversation again the next day. And so, but they are having buzz with those communities. The question is, will they convert to the type of environment? Now, the problem is that they also represent
the three of them represents areas that is not social media intense. And what I mean by that, they don't spend their time on Facebook and WhatsApp and Twitter and Instagram and the rest of them. And most of the young people who do spend their time in those particular areas, it's all about themselves. They're not checking for any political conversation or rhetoric or something else. Most of those individuals will make their decision within 6 days before the election by some major influential push. Family, friends, lovers, whatever it is, that is. Most people in this particular dispensation has decided who they are not voting for. Whether they're not voting for the FNM, whether they're not voting for the PLP, whether they're not voting for whatever. But many of those people who have decided who they have not voting for have not made a final decision on who they will vote for, including those people they first thought they would not vote for. And so that's where the Bahamas data collection and political calling is very unique. In fact, the shift in the last 2017 election did not happen until the last 3 weeks, in spite of people say, oh, this people speak and Ingram speak and all these other different things. If you look at the data analytics, Ingram had a small bump, but the FNM was already across the line as far as that matrix is concerned when those decisions was made. And so that last speech in the last week or something would not have made significantly much of a difference. What it did is simply say, you know, the water was 20 feet over the roof and somebody spoke and the water went 21 feet. Well, the roof is only 10 feet. So the water was already over the roof. And so the problem is that when you go into data, you have to remove emotionalism. And this is where you have noise in the Bahamas. We have activists and advocates are very good at making noise, but just look at their impact. We have been making noise at least for 15, 20 years on a whole host of issues, but I measure effectiveness by impact, not by the noise in the marketplace. And so if we want to change the Bahamas we have to move from making noise to actually making decisions. And the best way to happen is at the end of this result, you must look at the power brokers in the House of Assembly. And that will be two people. That will be the government and opposition who will most likely have the stronger position to put forth policies and ideas to go forward. Remember, we go to Parliament for legislation or laws. You go there for policies and you go there for programs. And so you don't go there to cut lawns and, you know, all these wonderful things that these politicians are doing right now. You won't be seeing it for another 5 years. I want you to remember how many times they've cut your lawn after they was elected, how many times they came to your door and bought you food packages, how many times they came and repair your roof and your door and paint your houses and whatever else. And you notice how it is, right? They didn't paint every house in the constituency. They paint one house and everybody sits around hoping that, oh, please, let me be next.
We have a call on the line, C. Allen. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes. C. Allen, how you doing, man? I had the phone back. I've been listening to what you had to say. C. Allen, you're a PLP supporter. What are your impressions of the PLP this time around? What do you think that they're going to bring to the table for the Bahamas this go around? I'd like to know your position on that.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Yes. Let me just say, when people say, I say to people, right? And for anyone who knows I don't hide it. I subscribe to the PLP philosophy. Okay, my father and my family were there in 1953 and even before. I am of the Knowles of Long Island, the Umbrister Hebburn of Cat Island, and the Johnson of Eleuthera through the Berry Islands. And so, you know, my subscription is to the philosophy. And for anyone who wants to see the hardest critical critique of the PLP, need only go back to 2007. And you want to see my critique of the FNM, go back to 2012. You want to see my critique of the PLP, go back to 2017. But what you have to do is go to my page and look every single day. Every single day, I critique, not criticize, on what's happening, because the PLP or the FNM, they are vehicles controlling my destiny. And whoever has their hands on the wheel, I have a right to criticize and critique. And so this thing about saying I support the PLP, you've never heard me ever say I am a PLP, because I'm not a political party. I am a person that subscribes to a philosophy. But if that philosophy doesn't align with the direction the country is going, I will criticize the way the country is going, and it doesn't change my belief in its philosophy. And so, but as to answer your question, where it's going right now, as of yesterday, the PLP has an edge of about 7%, most likely being the government of the Bahamas. And I would estimate if an election was called yesterday, the PLP would have probably ended up at about 26 seats. That's yesterday, and the FNM would have ended up with 13 seats, not the DNA, not the coalition of any independents. That's the data, period. The question then becomes, is that as the messaging begins to accelerate, and those individuals, those 30%, 35% who have not made up their minds, who normally break for the opposition party, as they begin to enter into the data pool, those data will change. But essentially, let's say we have 300 people. My opinion as of today, which is the data helps me form that opinion, says that it's based on 200 people. But it's 300 people that's going to be voting. And so until those other individuals enter into the data pool, no one can be absolute. And so I hear the anecdotal, this one will win and that one will win. You want to know who will win? Ask me 6 days before the election. And that's normally what I post on my page, because about that 6 days, the hype will be coming. Right now, the soft solution will go forward. I can tell you as it stands right now, you will not get much data analysis from me after Sunday, because I believe this election is so important for our country that I am going to make a decision, and I am going to choose sides, not a side. I'm going to choose sides. I'm going to tell you people as well as parties that I think will be good for our country based on my view of the future and the capability and competence of the individuals who will be doing it. Because political parties don't drive vehicles which call the country. Individuals do. Collective intelligence is the most important thing in this country going forward, judging on where we are and where we need to go. And I don't do that on my emotion. I do that on my critical thinking skill.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
See, Alan, I don't want to go on your page, which I will. However, I asked you a specific question, and you did a good job.
You first made an accusation.
That one. Hold on now. What I'm saying is, and this isn't the first time this has happened when I called in. If it's a question you sort of feel a bit uncomfortable with, you will do it.
I'm not uncomfortable. See,
I don't want you to.
I want you to go back to the beginning.
I asked you a direct question.
No.
Around that one, man.
Go back and make your statement. You said, I know you. I want you to go back to your statement. See, the minute you come with a promise, I know where you're going. Then I begin to listen with my mind, not with my ass. And I understand. See, you can't lead me where I don't want to go. However, I stated my position, and anyone who knows me knows I am taking on leadership in this country face to face. Both Hubert Alexander Ingram and Perry Gladstone Christie. Even with my support of the political party, I fought against my party. So please don't try to try to take your bias and implant it on me. Don't do that.
No. I'm trying to get an idea of what your idealism is on that particular party. If you want to promote that party based on your confidence level in their plans for the Bahamas future, I want you to express them. That's all. It's not a trap question.
I don't speak, but as I'm saying to you.
The thing about it is, I'm sure you used the trap questions. I wasn't giving you one of those. All I was doing, if you say yourself that you're a supporter, I didn't say that.
I didn't say I was a supporter. No, sir. I said to you, I subscribe to. No. Hold on a second. Let's correct something, then let's go forward. I said to you, I subscribe to the philosophy of the Progressive Liberal Party, not the party, to the philosophy upon which they were built, whether they follow it today or not. The fact that they may not follow the philosophy doesn't change mine.
So what is your critique of the party? What is your overall idealism of that party right now as we speak? That's not a trap question. That's a real question.
Yes. You asked me about an organization. The PLP is a structure. Now, see, your question, if you want to be exact, is asked about the leadership. See, this is where I listen to your bias. The PLP, the party. See, if I jump in a vehicle, it doesn't change the vehicle. The driver determines the direction it goes. So I'm simply saying this is where I said to you the noise in the Bahamas is going to be good at making noise. Because what we say is, I'm not politically biased, but if you listen intently, critically thinking, you can hear a shift in a position. So I'm simply saying to you, listen to me very carefully. I'm going to say this slowly. 1953 philosophy, even revised in 1956. I would ask you, don't go to most PLPs, go to people like Alfred Sayers and others and ask them what I believe. The 1953 philosophy of the Progressive Liberal Party. Sir Lyndon Pinnon came there in 1956. Okay, I told you I believe in 1953. That's what the basis of what I have. And so this whole thing about I am a PLP or this one is a PLP and FNM, if you don't know me, then you can only come to an opinion. I'm simply saying this. If you go through my 17 years of who I am and my predictions and my point of data, I don't feel it. If you watch Michelle's show, we've been talking about data conversation from the time she was at that other station. And she and I have been 93% correct on all of our prediction, even when we revise it. Okay? It is not opinion. I have my opinion, but then if I give you my opinion, it's going to be wrong because my data is telling me my opinion is wrong.
Well, you'll express your opinions when it came with regards to other parties. Some parties more than others, as we've already listened to you.
I've given you an analysis of the parties.
No, not analysis. This has absolutely nothing to do with the analytics or the numbers at all.
No.
You've expressed in great detail many times over, many shows over, that you and certain parties just can't see eye to eye with their plans, their leader. They're nothing.
No.
You have not mentioned a number of names on the amount of times you've mentioned certain names. Now that's an unbiased observation.
What you mean?
Anybody listens to Michelle's show every day, they know for a fact.
Do me a favor. My number is 443-7189.
Yeah.
And if you want to, I can give you. You finished? Ask your leaders. Huh?
Repeat the number.
Repeat the number for me again.
443-7189. And you can ask the leaders of any of the political parties in this country. If they don't talk to me and I give them my unbiased opinion, even when it hurts their feelings. No leader in this country that don't know me, and I don't know them, and I don't have their number, and they don't have mine, and we don't talk almost on a daily basis. None.
However, as much as we try to be unbiased, we still find ourselves being guilty of that fact. Some more than others. But I respect your opinion. I listen to you. We've agreed on many subjects before, but on some, when it gets personal, that's with regards to politics. And sometimes, we have our own ideals. We have our own ideas on who should run best or who will do a better job and whatnot. But this is the most critical point in our ministry. Therefore, we have to discuss this over and over again.
Let me say something to you.
At this point in time.
See, here's a conversation we having. Who I want to win may be totally different than who will actually win. That's what I do. Okay? Who I want to win is totally different than who will win. Okay? Because it isn't me that determines who wins, The people do, and I'm watching the data that tells you where it is, and it changes on a daily basis. That's all. Everything.
Let me say something, Alan, real quick, and I'm not listening to what they say. I'm going to leave right now because I know other people are going to call in too. But I was just talking online just a few minutes ago about the popularity numbers when it came around to the PLP last election. Okay, do you have the information available right now? Because they were in the lead. Popularity was online.
Yes.
The PLP thought they had a decisive victory. Now that goes without saying. That's written in stone. That's not what I made up.
No.
Okay. Hold on, see, Alan. Hold on. You know where I'm going with this, but the exact opposite happened.
No, that's not true. That's it.
Hold on, see, Alan. See, Alan. We're talking facts here, man.
No, we're not facts. I'm talking truth.
Popularity, the PLP were in the lead.
They were not. Listen to me. The PLP had a lead until April. After April, the PLP disappeared from social media. If you listen to the PLP themselves, they begin to tell you the FNM ran an effective digital campaign. I watched the campaign and I know it intimately, very, very intimately. I'm simply saying to you, the numbers that you say, the opinion ain't real. I'm saying to you, watch the statistic. But the election was not won on social media. There was
already. I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about social media, you're wrong.
Gentlemen.
We can't have an argument because he wants to argue an opinion. I am saying, Michelle,
y'all need to have this conversation. He gave you because y'all start to wear everybody down.
No, I am saying to you, we do not need to argue what exists. Hindsight is 2020. He's still arguing an opinion when the data exists. I'm giving my number. If you want to understand the data of what happened, understand. But don't bring me your opinion of what happened in 2017. I'm saying to you, I'm in possession. Looking back at the data, we can see by breaking it down exactly what happened because we learn from what has happened compared to the data so we can move forward. I'm saying to you, what you're saying is what's in the public place. That's not what happened. See, Michelle, let me say this.
Y'all got me tired now.
I'm listening to the trend. I can tell you unequivocally, these are supporters of the Coalition of Independence so far. They're trying to shift my opinion of who the Coalition of Independence is. They should talk to their leader and ask them how well I know the Coalition of Independence and BE and the Bahamas Sovereign Movement and KCX and the DNA and the BNCP and the BDM and the Righteous Government Movement and the Kingdom Government Movement and the BDM. I'm saying this is not me talking out of my head.
Gotcha.
This is not being brought in for some information. Again, Michelle, it goes to point. This is where the noise happened. When you put individuals that make noise in Parliament, that's what you get in Parliament is noise. When you put individuals that make sense in Parliament, you get sense.
Let me ask you this. You're talking about looking at the data, polls, what people are expressing on data. In some of these communities, not all of them, but in some of the over-the-hill communities, for example, people ain't got no data to be referring to. They just trying to keep their head above water. So
that's the X factor. That's the X factor in this. And Michelle, you hit it on the nail. Do you know that the number of individuals on social media has dropped dramatically since COVID and slowly went down? You don't have to believe me, Go ask BTC, go ask Alive, and go ask Cable Bahamas. They will tell you their numbers and their revenue has went down from data.
Right.
And so this whole concept of, we're going to depend on social media. What you can do is you could however extract by dimming the light, you get to see that sun in the galaxies way away. And then you begin to look at the moons around that sun and the planets around that sun and make a determination. This election, it'll be one of the hardest to call. But again, I say to you, if you had called this election in February of this year, the FNM probably would have won. Right up until about April of this year, the FNM was having a significant lead in spite of what they were doing, because again, it looked as if though the PLP was still trying to organize themselves around its leadership and whatever else. But ever since the PLP has begun to nominate their people and they went into the field, you've seen the other political parties that's dropped away. And so then you have the coalition that came around since November or whatever their idea is, and people bought into it. In the beginning, it peaked. But if we be honest, it has begun to temper because people have begun to go back to their place of comfort. The one thing about the Bahamian marketplace is we are creatures of habit. No matter what we believe, when we go, as we get closer to that deadline, and which is getting there very close now, I said to you that the major shift will occur in 3 weeks after nomination. The beginning on Monday is when you begin to see the real data shift as to what behavior will happen and what it's like. And so I'm simply saying to you, as it stands right now, I anticipate 3 major people, the DNA, I'm saying individually, because understand, and I want people to go and watch the FNM campaign. The FNM campaign is trying to move the campaign to focus on Brave Davis, but in the meanwhile, they are campaigning in their constituencies. That's where it counts. So I'm simply saying is, if Lincoln Bean and Kamalafi stays on social media and believe that's the popularity contest, the FNM strategy is on the ground, first across the post. If you understand the rule of governance in the Bahamas, that's the real data. Forget the noise that's being made now in the marketplace. The price of the fish is in each of those constituencies on the ground. And then you have to ask yourself, look at the PLP, look at the FNM, the existing machinery and point of contact and branding. I don't care how good your soda is. You will not compare with Pepsi and Coke. It is what it is.
Well, you know, somebody's making a point that I guess you just said. And boy, a lot of people can think this is a problem. Clarice says we can't really take a big gamble totally on something new. But the question is, if you're not willing to change, then you got to be satisfied with getting the same thing over and over again. That's called insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then you're sitting there saying, why things wouldn't change?
But Michelle, I hear people scream, vision, ideas, whatever. First of all, vision is to be able to have individuals experience the future and the present. That has not happened with any of the political parties so far. I don't care what they say. What you've had is ideas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And be the first one who said this. And even when they say it doesn't. We have incidents that happen where you have leadership trying to massage the intellectual capacity of behemoths to tell them, you didn't see what you see. You didn't hear what you hear. You didn't witness what you hear, whatever. Please, behemoths are some of the most politically astute. What you have to do is go and read the WikiLeaks and other reports. And they would tell you behemoths are politically and religiously inclined. But when it comes to politics, the behemoths are some of the most stout and astute individuals there is. And this is why we've been having the flip-flop. And why? Because political parties who want to come up, these minor leagues, have never taken the 5 years to create a culture. Culture creates the environment by which you get people to buy into. And so I'm simply saying this, we have not changed the political culture in spite of what we say. I hear people say, oh, we got 70% of the population under the age of 40. But we have not cultivated them, culturized them into the thinking that is necessary for the future. We could see that by their habits. You could call this, you know what they say? Guy sits on the corner, you could sit and call yourself, I'm a dog, I'm a dog, I'm a dog, I'm a dog, all you want. When I'm looking at you, I see what you are. What I'm simply saying is, our heritage, we have a heritage, a political heritage, and we have a political culture. That has not shifted. And I'm simply saying, though, however, this election, based on the global matrix and behavior, may be the one time for the culture of the Bahamas to begin to shift. I'm saying to you, as of today, the political culture of the Bahamas have not shifted. I don't care how much noise you make.
And what will be an indication to you that that has happened? What will be an indication to you?
Behavior. It'll be a shift in demands where you see bursts of it, where you see march against not for your, what is it? Keep your corned beef, keep this, whatever. But the problem is when you look at each of those bursts, you see the exact same grouping of 500 people, 600 people, never more than 1,000. So I'm simply saying is that when you see that burst begin to happen in constituency by constituency, then you'll begin to see a cultural change. You may have it in about 5 years. The DNA is one of the best opportunities that was squandered over the last decade in creating a cultural shift rather than making noise. And that's my point is you can't make noise and say noise changes culture. Noise shapes culture. This is not Junkanoo. Okay, even Junkanoo itself took a time to grab root and become one of culture. And this is why I'm simply saying, if by mistake or happenstance that you get into parliament, I want you to come back and watch. You will see government, you will see opposition, making noise or not making noise, and you will see, making policies and whatever, and you will see noise in the marketplace. Because you'll have government, we should have government in waiting, meaning active participation in parliament. But we don't have government in waiting in parliament. We have people waiting to be government. That's the difference. Government in waiting is active participation in shaping policies, bringing laws, community activism and everything else to shape the policy, finding what your people want in the community, going into the House of Assembly and say, hey, as government in waiting, these are what the people are asking for, and this is why we bring it here. But for the last 40 years, we've had waiting to be government as opposed to government in waiting. Government in waiting can also sit outside of the House of Assembly if you begin to organize yourself in a structured manner of 39 constituencies, then break it down to polling stations, and represent the interests of the people on a daily basis. And so I'm simply saying to you, unless, let's say, 5 independents get there, and they stay independents, which you will have is 5 noisemakers. It is only unless one or group of them can organize themselves into a structure. Don't call it a political party.
So what you're trying to say is an independent candidate, you can't have an impact?
and you can have your impact if you do something in your community, but you will not have an impact in Parliament based on the culture that we have existing in there. You won't. You could bring to light the mistakes in the error. I could do that sitting at home watching the football game. He missed a pass. Oh, he could have done that, whatever. That's not impact. Wow. Being on the field and blocking and moving, whatever. People changes culture, not individuals. And so I'm simply saying is that your influence has to be within your community, impactful, that changes the culture of that community to have impact in the ballot box the next time. But simply making noise in the community, one thing, hey, I guarantee you, I could get more people to a fight downtown in Bay Street than most of these political parties could get to a rally.
Wow. Okay, we got to take a break. Boy, the chat is like really blowing up, and y'all really got to ease up with the fighting on the chat now. It ain't necessary. They attacking each other on the chat. Come on, man. We all got to live in this one Bahamas. Let's show some love, all right? We could agree to disagree. All right, so we're going to continue this conversation, but we have to pay some bills, y'all. Got to get our final break in, so we will be back on the other side. Stay with us.
Excuse me, good afternoon, excuse me. Anybody have some American single dollars, please?
Wait, shorty, you going for any?
No, hey, my mommy sent me to the cooler ice machine, but I only have Bahamian money. Oh, well, tell your mommy she later. There's take Bahamian currency now, child.
You heard right. Cooler Ice Bahamas now accepts U.S. and Bahamian currency. So pull up to any of our locations and get your freshly bagged ice for as low as $3. A Cooler Ice machine is right around the corner. So visit us at Arawaki, Montague Boat Ramp, Waters Key Dock, Superwash locations, Nassau Street, Gibbs Corner, Wolf Road, Prince Charles Drive, Charles Sanders Highway, Soldier Road, Carmichael Road, and our 4 new locations: Superwash, Carmichael Road West, BPSU Building on Wolf Road, Rolls Auto on Eastern South, and Joe Farrington Road, opposite Checkers Cafe. Cooler Ice Bahamas, fresh and ready whenever you are.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
One of the things I love about the Mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by
Classic Formal Wear, a place where you can find everything you need for that special occasion.
And by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with C. Alan Johnson. We are talking government opposition or noise. C. Alan causing all kind of combustion.
Yeah. Michelle, let me put some of these things. What I want them to do. You Coalition of Independence and you DNA and other people, BNCP and otherwise, right? I think his name is what his name is, Darren Stubbs. Why don't you all call Lincoln Bean and ask him to make a public statement of what do you think about me? Okay, just ask your leadership to make a public statement. I'm simply saying is this, because this whole natural process argument, I hear them say what I believe in 2014, right? What I said then, I believe now. But I notice how you guys move from saying what I believe that we should get from our natural resources, over 100 of them, as compared to this story about aragonite. There's a difference between our natural resources that may be worth in the trillions of dollars and the concept of aragonite and sand. Just because you guys woke up to aragonite and sand, I've spoken to over 100 of them. Not by my opinion. This is also reports that tells you the value of them. And so when you begin to look at the value of them, yes, we can get to 50,000 a year. Let me say unequivocally right now, if you show me where everybody could get $100,000 right now from sand or aragonite on the global marketplace, you could have my $100,000. Don't tell me what somebody say you. I say show me. Now you're supposed to be so sure that you're going to get it that you know you could have my 100,000 because we're going to be getting that 100,000. I'm saying to you, it will not happen. We can from our resources, but the problem is those individuals who are speaking with our resources, they don't have a clue what our natural resources is, the amount of resources is, and what to mine it. And for those of you, for the end of the conversation, the resource you talk about, sand and aragonite, is worth more leaving it in place rather than mining it. The aragonite is worth 10 times its value leaving it in place, not mining it, leaving it in place.
And that's because of what?
Because it is it's a carbon capture. Mm-hmm. And so there is means for which you can have it. But again, this is what you have in the Bahamas in our leadership. You have pirates, P-I-R-A-T-E-S, that steal ideas, and parrots, I repeat it, P-A-R-R-O-T-S. They pirate and parrot. And because they get to be, with the whole group of churches, I call most political parties in this town, these third parties become churches.
Pirates and parrots. Lord,
and so the fact is that if questioned about what they believe, most of them can't explain to you the composition formula of aragonite or sand or anything else, our ask them about our caves or our blue waters or our fishing grounds or our what do you call it, mangroves or anything else. They just, so you find feel-good statements. If you want your raggedy, let me just say this, Michelle. I want people to listen. I want you to take this clip, guys. I want you to take this clip out. There's a young lady by the name of Eden Mary Gator, and she's on social media. She told you how to get your money for your raggedy in one day like this. That could happen on the first day of Parliament. And this is what you should ask your people to do right now. Simply forget your money. Surrender all resources into a sovereign wealth fund, known and unknown, seen and unseen, tangible and intangible, and it'll be out of the hand of politicians. And then you hire a sovereign asset management company to exploit it for the benefit of all the human, not family, friends, lovers, foreigners, and financiers. And so the simple rule is not to elect somebody to do something for you. There is no Messiah going in Parliament to save you. Forget it. It is not Brave Davis. It's not Hubert Minnis, or Lincoln Bain, or Kamalafi, or Kevin King, or Micklin Seymour, or Cassius Stewart, or Ali McIntosh, or Adrian Francis, or any one of those. There is no Messiah going to show up in the House of Assembly to save this country. Who are you looking for is you in your mirror. Just look in the mirror. And if you want to have every access to the 100 resources, including the forts that they're giving away, and actually take possession of everything they've given away, you can take it back. Okay? Parliament says no current government could bind another. So this whole story about you can't take nothing back is a lie. And I see many of you say, oh, they saw whatever. Take it back. Drop it. So I'm simply saying this. You want it? Ask for one thing. Go and ask every single MP, do you support, and put them on recording, on tape, every aspirant, do you support surrendering all natural resources in the Bahamas to a sovereign wealth fund, whether it's known or unknown, whether it's seen or unseen, whether it can be touched or not?
Cialan, we have a call on the line, Cialan. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes. Michelle, you know, I normally call into your show to chime in on the national issues. But now, some people's getting a little technical and personal. So let me let that be known. When it comes to this nation, I'm a Bahamian before I don't even come out of my house for the last 11 years, only to go and do what I have to do. So I need people to understand who's talking when I come on this radio. The PLP and FNM know exactly what I have created. I create what I need to make money from it. And if I want to make it, if I create something, and any FNM leadership or any PLP leadership over the last 29 years, tell them who's talking, Michelle.
Okay. All right, Amos.
I don't talk on every radio station and let these people know what the Bahamian people, what God gave them belongs to them and not no foreigner. And y'all will tell me what.
Okay,
you're going back to the same problem?
All right.
Or get yourself.
Okay, Amos. Listen. Everybody on social media need to calm down. See, Alan, you caused World War III going on a Facebook comment.
Hey, you know what you said, right? We have governance. You have one or the other, and you have the rest of the noise makers. I'm saying to them, you cannot change. It said this: you cannot manage what you cannot measure, and you cannot measure what you refuse to acknowledge. If you realize that you've been making noise, then you can change.
Listen to this comment, and then we're going to call on the line. So this comment says, who cares who steals an idea? It's all about who can execute the plan. Real quick, how do you respond to that? Then we go into the caller.
Amen. And no one has shown me yet how they can execute the idea they have expressed. And that's what impress people.
Caller, welcome to GPS.
Oh, boy, Michelle, today was very interesting. I think everybody need a cold beer right now. Calm down. Anyway, see, Alan, I thought ran through my head. If the people don't know what their position can be and what they should do in order to benefit from natural resources, then what do you expect them to do if they don't know? Here's my position. You, an intellectual fellow, you have this information. Why haven't you been broadcasting this? When it comes down to natural resources, hold on now, but as effectively, if you have the platforms, know the platforms that you should use to be as effective as you possibly can. Why am I just knowing about these things since Lincoln Bain came around?
But I'm saying to you this. You ask a question one at a time. Why don't you go ask everyone in this town who speak about natural resources where they get their information from? Many of them just get it by simply watching the videos. The fact that you may not, a lot of people might like sound bites as opposed to education doesn't change the fact. The fact that they take a piece of information and contaminate it for their own good, I tell people directly what it is and what it's good for and how to use it and where to use it. I'm simply saying it's this. I can challenge all of the people who speak on it and onto their source. I don't make up things like I went away, I went this place and that place and all the other place. I have concrete information from data mining. I also have it from experience in my previous life of being able to track resources around the world for political and geopolitical purposes. When I came home almost 20 years ago and started speaking about aragonite and sand and all the other type of things, the caves and other things, very few people. One person when I came home, I observed speaking about fisheries and the mangroves was Prescott Smith. When I came home, the word aragonite was not even could be found in Google. So I'm simply saying this: Bahamians like the softest things. Don't tell me I have to buy a ticket. Just tell me I won the lottery, and that's where our problem is. Okay, and so
even though it sounds funny, but I agree to a lot of what you said just now. However, you watch a Spider-Man movie, with great power comes great responsibility. Knowledge is power. However, you being an intelligent person, it's incumbent upon you to spread that gospel. Wouldn't you agree? Because if hold on, see, Alan, I listen intently to what you have to say. What I'm saying in a nutshell is, whatever anybody's reason for blasting the information, KCX, Lincoln Bain, whatever the case is, the information got out there because they took it upon themselves to make it a personal project to enlighten the minds of Bahamians. Actually, KCX and Lincoln, before they even talked about any political aspirations, this is what they've been doing. A lot of information has been released.
Hold a second.
Also, the natural. Hold on now.
You are convoluting. No, hold on a second. You are convoluting and conflating things to make a point.
Alan, I'm almost done. If you have a little bit more patience, I'm going to listen to what you got to say here about it.
You need to make it quick because we're running out of time.
I understand, Michelle.
Not providing information.
Where they got the information from? If you are intellect, why haven't you made it your personal project?
Okay. Let him answer. Let him answer the question.
You asked me, and then you want to make a statement. I've made it my personal project. That's why you're hearing it. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't care where they told you they get it from. Ask them to tell you the truth. I'm simply saying to you, it has been my personal project to inform and arm the rebels. The fact that the rebels get sliced down by personal ambition, do not put KCX in the same category as Lincoln Bain. Don't do that. KCX was a very dear friend of mine, and I was with him on the battle from day one. I know his passion. I know his belief. And never once have he ever tried to exploit the information that he's had, that he's gathered on his own or get from others for personal gain. Don't do that. Do not do that. So I hear people, after he has died, want to take and align themselves with what he believes and what he is. If in case of you all who don't know, there's very few islands that KCX and I did not go together. Okay? So I'm simply saying to you, don't do that. See, I'm saying to you, there's very few real activists for natural resources in this town, What you have is individuals for soundbite. If you can't go beyond 2 things or 3 things, you don't know that about natural resources, you know what you picked up. When you talk about an anti-intellectual society, try it. This is where we are. Because again, we then come, like you come to me and say, what I've done. You should have done your research and go back. I said to you, things that people are beginning to explain now. When I was with the other people, when we talked about natural resources before they became a political party, whenever we talk about natural resources and they become political parties, you don't see me with them anymore. Because politics is never personal to me, nor is resources a political issue for me. Almost every political party that's formed since 2007 came out on the basis of natural resources. You never see me with them. Why don't you go and see who I'm with them lying? The guy who asked me, didn't you say for 50,000? Yes, that's when we were called the BNCC. You never saw me again when they became the BNCP, because political party is not going to solve our problem. Anti-intellectualism is not going to solve our problem. And we are an anti-intellectual society. And this is why 90% of our intellectuals don't come back home. I came back home because I liked the fight. I had fight all over the world, and I liked this jungle, and I came to break that. And so the more people I arm with information, no matter how little they put in the public domain, it contaminates the water. You can have a gallon of water. I spit in that, and you will not say, well, that's just a little bit of spit. You won't drink it. So I'm here to contaminate the minds of Bahamians, and eventually I knew the battle I was doing. When I came home and started talking about Aragonite and all these other different things, I didn't just talk about it, I was actually in the business. And so in case you don't know, for a record will show, there's video that exists. When I first started talking about Aragonite in 2004, $5 million was put on the table for me to go away. That ain't me talking when these people say, oh, I'm bribed. Let me tell you what Myles Munroe said. I hear people all the time, and that was a donation to a company I was with. Let me tell you something. Whenever you hear I hear somebody says to me, they try to buy me to be quiet, I dismiss them. You know why? You don't walk up to a woman on the street and say, I'll give you $500 for sex unless she's dressed like a prostitute. They know who you are when they offer you. Okay, so I hear people all the time, they've given me millions of dollars and they've given me this and they offer me this and you can't bribe me and all this other stuff. It's showmanship. That's your reputation you're trying to build. But most of us who can see through the shadows can see your character. So I'm simply saying is, I will continue to battle. When all of these so-called political parties die in a matter of weeks, come back again and see who's talking sense and see who's talking nonsense. Better known as noise.
Lord Jesus, what is this on this show today? Oh boy, yeah, okay.
Michelle, if I was to speak about what resources is, those other parties will die tomorrow. But guess what I say, Michelle, because we can be back and be back with you maybe think. Because for those of you understand, you ask for the guy who asks, what is my political choice? Those know I've never stopped believing in the philosophy of the PLP. But I supported the FNM the last election and they won. You want to know what I believe this time? By Sunday, I'll make my decision.
Well, because we got to see what happens on nomination day, quite frankly.
Absolutely. And then I will make my decision. And many of you will be surprised about my decision about PLP, FNM, DNA, Coalition of Independence, and BDM, and RGM, and CMU, and all this other stuff.
Listen, caller, you can't be running on long. We got 2 minutes left in the show. You got 30 seconds to ask your question. Go ahead.
Just call to tell C. Allen I disagree with the last statement he made. The facts are, okay, totally disagree with him.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, Bahamians have a mind of their own, bro.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. Good God Almighty. What a time. All right, time is gone, C. Allen. So I can give you
30 seconds. 15 seconds. That's what I want to tell people. I want you to know it's not about your future. It is about the future and building a new day. A new day in the Bahamas where Bahamians begin to take their rightful position in the world, not just in their country and the world. And I'm simply saying to you, that will not happen by the PLP, the FNM, the BDM, the DNA, or the Coalition of Independence. That happens when your decision for change happens. Change begins with you and your desire for change and not looking to some messiah or some group of people. And then we can take from the day after the election, we can take back our country. Day one.
Very powerful words to end on. C. Allen, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You caused plenty confusion and combustion and people rowing and fighting each other on Facebook, but I think this conversation was obviously very necessary.
And they're going to love us next week when I make my decision on who I support or the groups I support. The coalition I support.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks so much for being here as always, man. We'll chat after the show.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's it, guys. Time is gone. We got to get out of here. Thank you to C. Allen for making this such an engaging show today. Thank you to all of you who have either listened in on via radio or TuneIn app or Facebook or YouTube. And for God's sake, y'all, Facebook viewers, stop fighting each other. Stop fighting each other. This is why our country is where it is today. People fighting each other over politics. Ain't necessary. We got one Bahamas to live in. And we need whoever the next government is to succeed. Because when they don't succeed, All us catch hell. So please stop fighting each other. It ain't worth it. Stop fighting each other. All right? 1 o'clock. I got to get out of here. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow is a Wellness Wednesday show, so we're going to be talking health. Make sure you tune in. I'm sure there'll be something that you'll find useful. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, and have a good afternoon.